Hello everyone, and welcome to the final episode of Isle of Scáth and the tour, which I'm very excited for. And I'm not doing it on my own. I am joined today by, firstly, Poetry Slam 78.
It's your girl, Poet!
And Iron Matty.
Oh!
Let's just do a quick introduction. So, Poet, tell us who you are, what you do.
I am Poetry Slam, otherwise known as Poet, and I stream a lot of Planet Coasters, a little bit of Daisy, and some other games over on Twitch. I'm also newly on YouTube, and in my spare time, I like to bake and skate and hang out with Moomy.
Aww. And Iron Matty.
Hello everybody, I am Matty. I am a Planco YouTuber for the PlayStation side, so for the console side of Planet Coaster. Very excited to be here, absolutely honoured that Moomin's invited me along, and you wanted to know a little bit more about me. I like roast lamb dinners. What's that?
Thanks, Matty. That's a lovely...
And a console, like a console Planco player, I always admire console Planco players. I think it's...
Yeah, it's another level of skill, I think, to be able to build in detail on console. So, yeah, no, I think you're a fantastic content creator, and that is why you're here today. And likewise, Poet, your streams, I mean, it's no secret. I'm in every single one of your streams because you're just the best and a very close friend of mine. So here we are in the Isle of Scáth. As you know, if you've watched the previous episodes, this park was inspired by a map in Hitman 2. I was playing the mission, finished it, completed it, and I was like, I have all the inspiration in the world, so I hopped straight into the game and started this, and I thought, I'm going to make a series out of it. The port, obviously, it's an island, so arriving by boat is the main way to get here, so I wanted to put a lot of detail into this area here.
When you sent me that very first screenshot of the snow, the water, and then just an edge of the port, you definitely did more than pique my interest. I was like, oh, I want to build that. What's that? What's going on? Ooh, neat.
You know what's a great word? Pique.
Do you know what blows my mind? Is that you can play a different game and take that level of inspiration and then just jump straight into Planet Coaster and be able to put what you have seen into action, whereas I will be playing other games and I'll think to myself, oh, that'll look amazing in Planet Coaster, and I'll have all these great ideas, and then I come to put pen to paper and it just doesn't work at all. So the fact that you can go off and play different games and then come in and be like, right, I'm going to build something of a replica of that is just mind-blowing.
Honestly, the secret is reference. At one point I literally had both games open at the same time. I had Agent 47 just stood on the pier and I was just going back and forth, literally copying it piece by piece, and then it's just about knowing your palette, knowing what build items you have to replicate. Obviously that's a lot easier for us with TMTK, so a lot of times you have to rely on those, which you can't, sadly.
Does PC have TMTK? Somebody should have said.
That's.
We had no idea about that. No, don't rub it in, will you?
No one's ever brought that up before. What a lovely cable track that is there. What a lovely little piece of TMTK gravel we've got there.
It was lovely joining you anyway, so thank you ever so much for having me along. I'm going to go back and play the inferior version.
Ever.
Oh dear.
Remember Flex, episode 20.
Indeed. Here's some toilets. Very nice.
Rich people pee.
Staff room. This is a functioning staff room as well. So there you go.
Oh, nice.
And we come into the main courtyard.
What a skyline.
This is one of my favourite views. So yeah, with this, so I went with the I in the middle, O around, and then the S for the Isle of Scáth, which then conveniently took the shape of a $sign.
It does. It's very clever. I like it.
And that was a complete accident, but it worked very well. We've got this lovely fire pit in the middle, and we come to our first ride, which was conveniently named by Matty, and I'll let you pronounce it, Matty, since you're here.
It's Bahamut.
There we go. Bahamut, our kick flip, which was the first ride that was placed, and probably the tamest ride of the park, I think.
I've got to say, the color... I'm loving all the black and white that you worked with here, but that you made it mostly white with black seats gives me life. I love it so much.
One thing that I always tend to say in my spotlights, and I kind of come back to this a lot, is that less is more. And you're like the master of less is more. And more people should be watching and being inspired by the way that you build, because you don't need to go nuts. You don't need to be doing great big 4,000 blueprints for every single ride that you do. Sometimes just some basic foliage and custom fencing around a ride is more than sufficient. And it looks fantastic, but it's simple but effective. It's just amazing.
The honest answer is I'm not very good at skinning rides.
You think you aren't very good at skinning rides, but you consistently demonstrate that you are very good at skinning rides.
What I would say is I can integrate rides very well. But when you come to actually like skinning the rides is where I fall down. But,
well, I mean, if you think about in terms of realism, most of the flat rides in parks are simply integrated, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. So yes, that is, wait for it, Bahamut.
Oh, look, and you've got Maddie right on the back of the sign.
Bits of snow gathering, I thought would be a nice touch to put around the park. And I tried to do it as if the snow was drifting the same way, so it's always on that side. And I think it's those subtle things that the brain acknowledges.
You would notice something off if it weren't there.
Exactly, yeah. And so that it's piled more in that corner, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And over here we have our little information shop, which I think looks best at night. I love this flooring. I think it picks up the
flooring is great.
Really nice. Again, TMTK, sorry, Matty.
I've got that flooring.
I'm just not listening anymore. I stopped watching ages ago.
I also love the judicious use of blue spotlights throughout.
Blue was going to be my secondary colour for the park. In the end, I just, because some of the rides end up starting being blue, but then I was like, no, I just want to go black and white. And then blue is, very sparingly used as like an accent colour.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So this is the Isle of Sgòth bar, again, taken from Hitman directly. If we go around the back, we've got all of the backstage stuff, including a little sequencer that we can hit play on. And if I've done it correctly, yeah, it looks like I have. That'll turn on the dry ice.
Nice.
Weirdly, the smoke in Planet Coaster at night never normally looks very good, but for some reason, I don't know whether it's because of the lighting, it actually looks quite realistic.
It really does.
I think I forgot I did it, and then I suddenly saw people crowding around, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So I think I've hit a vista point in there, which means guests will sometimes come and have a look.
Look at that big wrinkly brain of yours.
I know. And then you've got the cube above, or as it's now called, Équilibre. There you go.
Nice.
Terrible French. Would you like to go right or left?
Always go left.
Always go left. So worth noting, so the right way is the wheelchair accessible route, and then left clearly is not. But Matthew said left, so let's go left. Which takes us straight up to Journey to the Surface.
Oh, yes.
Was the Bioshock themed dark ride, which we won't ride today because there's already the episode itself and there's a standalone POV that you can watch. But you can hear the beautiful music.
Yes.
Taken directly from Bioshock, which thankfully wasn't copyrighted. So that's
just love the lighting all around here. It just looks so ambient all around here, so tactfully done. The way that you've managed to fade it, it just looks amazing.
This queue, I just finished doing the whole ride and I was exhausted and running out of time. And I really had no effort to do the queue, and I was picking random pieces and throwing them in. But it's actually one of my favourite bits of the park now.
Man, it gives me such Titanic vibes. It looks very opulent. I love it.
Yeah. I don't know how I did it. It wasn't intentional, but it does have very nautical vibes. Autosave.
This is about the point in my streams where everybody starts putting in chat, disable autosave, disable autosave.
I know. We've also down here got, this is the lower level of the elevator that would take you up to the bar above, and then the Skywatcher above that. But yes, that takes you in here and into the station for
absolutely stunning ride.
The screens,
just incredible.
The screens in Planko are often a smidge overexposed, unfortunately, but I think it still sells what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I think it works here, though, honestly.
You've got the seating area, which is for this little snack hut, which is probably the most basic part of the park, but sometimes you just got to have a standard little snack hut, really.
You do.
You've got your Insanity, which is called Shadow, and that was named by Dan's theme park. Again, sits really nice on the edge here.
I really like the colouring of it as well, just changing it to the black and the white. It's just quite subtle.
Yeah.
As well, because Insanity rides can sometimes be a little bit unsightly.
They're
as
quite
well
garish.
in the park, but
yes.
Yeah, but you've like kind of pulled it off really well, and despite the fact that there's not a lot around it, you've managed to like integrate it really well and make it look like really well integrated into the park. It looks fantastic.
No, I think it looks really sleek, and that's what I was going for with the whole park, because it's got to have that sophisticated edge to it all.
I'm sorry, Newman, I just hit this castle.
Well, should we go around to the other side of it?
TMTK Ruin pieces are some of the best I have seen. Oh gosh, they are so good.
I mean, this park is 80% ruin pieces, really.
And the texture, everything. Yeah. And then, so like this was like really rough texture of the stone, and then this super modern steel and glass.
This was one of the first things I noticed in the Isle of Scale map, was this glass penthouse at the top. It's just such a nice juxtaposition to the old castle.
I assume a lot of people that are going to be watching this park tour, and a lot of people that will be watching your videos on YouTube, like myself, take so many ideas from you as well, Moomin. You're such a big inspiration to so many others. And when I watched the episode where you were building this, I was watching how you were doing that Penthouse, and just the way that you were using the windows and the arch shapes and the beams, and I'm like, why have I never thought of doing a window in that manner? It just looks awesome.
This is the castle interior, which is again mostly unused by guests because it's only got this burger shop and some toilets just through there.
Wait, back up. Let's look at those lamps.
These lamps.
Hi there. I just met you and this is crazy, but here's my apartment. Come live with me, baby. Seriously, I love these lamps.
I put these burgers here just to bring guests up here, which is clearly working. Most of what I do in Planco is not for the guests. It's for me, because I'm selfish.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, goodbye. Then this is the prestigious walk up to the elevator that takes you to the top floor, which would be for the elitist of the elite. Takes you up to like the viewing tower. Yeah, something I was keen to do with this was I love this idea of that you see so much in theme parks, where everything's a bit like a set, and you've got these walls that are kind of half height or 3/4 height, and then the rest is just like this black abyss of trussing and lighting, and you see it often in dark rides and stuff like that, but I think it often transfers over into some buildings.
Oh, it really does. I always like buildings like that too, because you've got that. I really like a good kind of modern and industrial vibe.
Well, it's like it's looking behind. Like I'm a theatre nerd, and I've always worked backstage, and I love that idea of seeing behind the curtain. Something that's always quite visible in theme parks.
I worked at Alton Towers for 5 years, and like kind of knowing like kind of the background stuff of it, and like kind of all the backstage areas and everything, and knowing like where all the little staff areas are. I just can't. I'm unable to go now to Alton Towers without thinking like, oh, I know what's back there, and I know like kind of where they keep all the storage there and everything. And it's a very surreal experience when you go somewhere and you've worked there for so long.
Oh yeah, I totally feel that. My first job was at Taco Bell, knowing the inner workings of that place to make sure you never go back there.
Yeah, that's probably not a good thing.
I love these helicopters.
Obviously, the rich would want to fly there. I can't imagine many people would want to come by boat. So of course there are helipads, and these are those helipads.
I wouldn't be able to come by boat because I get seasick.
Well, there you
I'd
go.
have to come by helicopter.
Oh no, what a shame. You'd have to come by your exclusive helicopter.
Such a shame of the difficulties in life.
Dun, dun, dun. God, this view. The skyline of this park is just stunning.
A lot of it is down to Nerd Chacho's coaster, which we will come to soon. It's just so big that it's... although, amazingly, I don't think it even classes as a hyper. Because if you want to do that in Planco, it has to be ridiculous.
It overwhelms the scale of even the biggest parks.
This takes us down. This is all backstage area, so this would be take us down to the other dock, which is where all deliveries and staff buildings are.
Once again, just the placement of the flat ride that you put over the top of the backstage maintenance area. It's just sometimes it's placement of your flat rides as well. You can decorate a flat ride all you want, but if you don't put it in the right place, it just doesn't work. And that just works. It's just such a clever placement.
For me, it's all about
an amazing sightline.
It's being seamless. I don't like to see obvious gaps, so I like everything being butted up to one another, but at the same time not looking cluttered. So this is Aurora, which was named by Starport 55, fantastic builder.
Starport, yeah.
This is the Penthouse 3, which is a great ride, and I said in the episode I rarely see people use it, and I'm not sure why, because it's a
fantastic ride.
It's a really pretty ride to look at.
I'd go on it. Would you go on it? You wouldn't go on it.
I wouldn't go on that, no.
Maddie, would you?
I'd possibly go on that, yeah. I'd probably make sure that I hadn't had my dinner first. I'd have my dinner after I came off that. But I'd possibly go on it.
I was just I have an issue with repetitive spinning. But it's often the case if you take rides like Twister, I think it's called, like even though the ride is constantly spinning, the motion you get on the ride is more like a back and forth. And so with those I'm fine, but it's like it's not until you go on the ride that you really know the impact it's going to have on you. So,
it's true.
Yeah, not sure about that one. This was a very late addition. It's just a tiny little ice cream hut with a nice burning effigy on top.
I like the fire with the ice cream.
Yes.
It doesn't melt. It's non-melting ice cream.
It's there's quite a few juxtapositions with the fire and the ice. Whilst we're here, let's take a look at SC Reconcile's beautiful Intamin launch.
This right here, like this part right here. Oh my gosh. SC Reconcile never fails to blow my mind.
He really doesn't.
This is just weird.
When I got it, it was actually only running one train, and I can see why, because there's no easy way to create a block section, but I managed to squeeze one in. So now it runs smoothly with two coasters, which leads to some really nice interactions between the two.
Oh yeah,
just incredible, absolutely amazing.
So let's. Also when you're walking here, you get a nice view down into this dock area, which is the bit that we'll pop down to later. And I love these arches.
Yeah, me too.
Such a clever
way to... And I love the coaster on the arches.
Exactly, using it as a support. And the detail that if you actually go... so if you look at it from this angle, you can see where the old arches used to be.
Yes.
If you go behind it, they are down here on the floor.
Oh, wow.
And he's actually used the exact pieces where they would have fallen. And it's details like that really sell something. Okay, here we are at Ghost. And that was a seamless transition. Nobody noticed there was a 20-minute break in between.
Not at all. No, not at all.
Let's head down here. There's wonderful queue that has a lovely interior section.
It was Poet's fault. She needed to eat an apple.
It's true. She needed to gag herself on an apple, apparently.
I love this view, and I love that the track is right next to us, so that when you stand there, you can hear it. I love coaster noises.
Yes, me too.
It's amazing. It's such a good sightline, but then you had a bloke with green hair walk past, and it really kind of like takes you out of the moment. You're thinking, what a beautiful sightline, and then some dude with green hair walks past, and you're like, oh. And then all I could look at was the guy with green hair.
I mean, he was blending with the green foliage, so I mean...
there you go, see?
Excuse me, as like a rich person coming to this park, I really find the aesthetic like not pleasing. Could you please force your employees to all dye their hair black or white?
I absolutely refuse to look at green hair. We're going to ignore all of these people flailing over there. I'll deal with that later. Here we go. This is definitely not the third time we've tried to record this POV.
Not at all.
For reasons we won't mention. we go.
Got that in the end.
Done.
Let's reconcile. We're really going to need you to pitch this to a theme park, please.
Yes, please. This is the exit of the ride. We're now going to, before this all breaks down into utter carnage, let's get over to the other side of the park now. That was
just stunning.
Edge. So here we have, and I didn't look up how to pronounce this, so I'm going to assume it's Sgòthan, or Sgòthan, which is the name for our Ascendants drop tower.
And who named this one?
This one, that's a good point. Can you do your job, Moomin? This was named by Flo Merlin.
I thought this was one of Merlin's suggestions. Yay!
He's such a great guy and fantastic supporter of the channel.
Yeah, an amazing character.
Yeah.
So this queue is obviously completely covered because of the coaster, but I wanted to keep it open.
Great way to cover it, yeah.
Yeah, because you want to be able to still see the coaster as you're queuing for this. And of course, the drop tower is actually in the middle of this, whatever this element is. I'm not going to pretend I know. So.
That is the half helix up Tony Hawk triple dip twister flip.
I just love your custom queues that you always do everywhere as well, all your custom fencing. Again, it just doesn't need masses. It's just simple and effective, and it really works, and it just adds to it. It's different from the in-game fence pieces, just making your own. It can really add to an experience of a park as well.
Yeah, I think going custom is important in Planco if you want to be unique, but obviously going custom doesn't mean using 2,000 pieces just to make one roof.
Right.
Just swapping out a fence for a couple of planks instead.
There's nobody here that would do that.
No.
We are all minimalists here.
Who uses way too many pieces for things?
No, it's for science. I just want to test the limits of my PC.
You really do. Here is a little plaza, which is where you'll find, I'm going to butcher this again, Équilibre, I think is how the French would say that, which was, again, named by Flo Merlin, being the Frenchman himself. Makes absolute sense. And obviously Equilibrium is perfect sense for a gyroscopic ride. So
it actually is.
Very, very nice.
And like the Insanity ride as well, you've managed to get similar colours as well, which really makes it blend and that consistency throughout the park as well.
Yeah. It just makes the whole park feel very icy.
Out of curiosity, Moomin, how many piece count is this park?
The piece count is
24,000.
Just over 24,000.
I mean, do you know what's funny about that? 24,000 pieces, any PlayStation 4 would handle that, and it just it goes back into my consistent argument of the console players. One of the biggest gripes is obviously, of course, the percentage counter. Now, this would fit on any PS4, easy. And look at the level of detail in this. Of course, you've got TMTK, things like that. I understand that, but this would run smoothly on any PS4.
Yeah.
So it's just about what you build and building smarter. Less is more.
So this is our bougie restaurant called Mange, which actually, coincidentally, is obviously another French word, so that works perfectly with the French name right now.
That font is amazing, just the glow of it.
Yes. So
feels very 80s retro nightclub.
This little mezzanine here was actually designed by my partner. So, he was watching me build, and he was like, I think you need another level here. And he was absolutely right, because it looks beautiful.
Creates another layer.
I think that you should probably let him play, to be honest, instead of you, because that is probably the best thing in the park.
Okay, thanks, Matty. Steady on now. Steady on.
I mean, good looking and smart and artistically talented.
Okay, I'll just leave it. So I'll see you later.
Seriously.
It looks fantastic. It looks so naturally integrated. And yeah, what a great little seating area.
Nice viewing platform for the ride as well.
Yes, dear. Let's go have some gelato on the mezzanine. I mean, it works.
Sweets. I mean, sweets doesn't scream rich people to you, does it?
Well, it's the British word for candy, and candy just feels too.
All these rich people are coming and getting a pack of Smarties. It just doesn't feel very rich. It should be more like a brochets.
Handmade confection.
Exactly.
That's what it's today.
Sugar-coated chocolate.
Custom made.
Bringing us nicely to Storm, which was named again by Dan's theme park, and is Nerd Chacho's coaster, which is obviously a huge, if not the main feature of this park. So here we are in the backstage area behind Storm. We have the transfer tracks, which you would have seen on the POV, but here they are. So you got the transfer tracks and then the maintenance shed there. And down here is the backstage area of the ride. The last ride we are to visit, I believe, the 360 Power named Icebreaker.
I dig it. I think it looks awesome, and I think that's a great
cool.
use of that's art shapes or basic shapes, right?
Yep, literally just art shapes. So the two things we need to do are go up to the 3rd level.
Yes, baby.
Castle. So originally this was at a normal height, but I had to lift it up because it was protruding into the floor below. So we'll just have to ignore that. But
isn't protruding an amazing word?
It is.
Protruding. It's just an amazing word.
It is.
Protruding.
So yeah, ignoring the fact it's floating, but the fact it's not used anyway by guests, so it doesn't really matter. But then this would also be just somewhere for the highest of the elites to hang out with their glasses of champagne, darling, and look over the park.
I don't like champagne. Can we have beer?
See, I was having this conversation the other day. Beer. I much prefer Prosecco to champagne.
Oh, Prosecco is so much better. Prosecco is clearly the superior drink.
Yeah.
I don't drink. I'm teetotal, so can I have a Ribena?
You can.
Yes.
You can have a fruit shoot.
The lighting in this park is just sensational. The way that you've got the lighting casting the shadows and ricocheting off the buildings is just sensational. It gives such a nice ambience and feel to it. And the park looks equally as good at night as it does in the day, if not better.
I was going to say, originally I was going to have it as a nighttime park, but it started looking so good at day as well. So this is the Deliveries Port, and this would have also been the main part of the island back when it was a functioning island of inhabitants. So you've got all the old Nordic style buildings that would have existed here before that have now since been converted into staff offices and stuff like that, and storage warehouses. And this would be the resident barge that would be ferrying backwards and forwards with bits and pieces. And that is...
I mean, this park has so many thumbnail shots. It's ridiculous. There's just sight lines and vista points everywhere.
It does.
It's just amazing. Wherever you are in the park, it's got good sight lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love the sight lines, and then all of the texture. Those are my favorite things about the park. You've got stone and steel and wood and glass, and there's just so much variation in texture. It's beautiful.
And that is where you'd get from here up into the park, through that tunnel we saw earlier.
Oh, yes, you did.
That is the whole park, I believe. So there we go, another series done. I can't believe this is now my 3rd series complete. I only started doing the YouTube at the start of this year. I'm thankful for every person that is subscribed and watches my videos. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And
whilst you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and make sure you pound that bell. Sorry,
exactly.
I had to do the
smash that notification button.
And whilst you're on a subscribing frenzy, make sure to subscribe to Iron Matty and go and give Poet a follow over on Twitch. You will not be disappointed by either of them.
Give me some love, baby.
Exactly. Thank you all so much for watching this tour. There will be a week off next week because when you're watching this, I believe it will be Christmas, or maybe just Christmas has passed. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to do Christmas then. But then I'll be back with a start of Little Treasure Cove, which is the sequel to Little Rock Ridge, which, if you don't know, is an entire mini park made without any DLC or TMTK, featuring some of the biggest and best names in the community, including Poetry Slam 78. So make sure to tune in for that. It's going to be really good fun. I've seen almost all of the builds, and they're all incredible. Make sure to tune in for that. And I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
And Iron Matty.
Oh, sorry, there's a bloke just come in. Sorry, the workman's just come back in. Give me literally 1 second. He's just letting us know about the paperwork.
That's
fine.
Oh. There's a random man in his house.
I think a random man in your house was a little bit more exciting, to be honest.
Yeah.
Didn't need the explanation, did we?
Okay, you ready?
All sorted? Oh, hang on. The man in the van is just pulling out of my drive. Go on, go away, go away. Get out.
So many different men going around.
Definitely need to move to England, goddamn.
As I'm sure you all know if you've watched the previous episodes.
For God's sake, there's now somebody knocking at the door, for f***'s sake. Hang on, I'm sorry.
We pop round the back.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I swallowed wrong. Oh my God, that sounds even worse.
You said.
Are we all happy? Are we all ready to continue?
Yarp.
Poet, have you died?
I'm sorry, I have an apple in my mouth.
Is the apple dislodged?
I swallowed it.
So you're ready?
Sorry.
Yes. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
This, I like to. What? Sometimes words, sometimes sounds.
Sometimes. There's just so much going on. Different interactions, going in and out, wrapping around things. Like, I don't even know how he came up with this.
Sorry.
What did I say?
He's like going in and out, wrapping around.
No.
I'm sorry.
Oh, and f***ing auto-save. So there we go. This is the... Stop screaming my name. This is the episode.
That's not what she said. Sorry.
Good lord.
Would have brought a console.
Autosave
Console
also stresses
will not
me out.
crash.
But we have TMT, and you don't. How about that?